Yesterday, I shared this tweet from Michael. Michael says 1/3 of women under 44 have no children, and the trend is rising. What is causing it? Egoism, cost of living, or something else? It is interesting to watch this line, this deep yellow line from 1975, how it is here at like less than 20%, and how it's growing, 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 and then how it just has a steep incline. The child-free movement has been growing for a while. It's just that people weren't watching it. And now look at this two children line, how it goes up and then how it goes back down. Look at that divergence, that yellow line, how it's over there. The one and done women have been steady for a while. 3 children has been dropping, and 4 and 5 plus children is down here. Those people are in a minority, and they have been in the minority for a while. So you see that right there. Yesterday, when I shared this on my page, I told the women to answer in wrong answers only, but someone wanted to know what they were saying with this tweet. So I went back and I looked at some of the quote retweets. Because number one, why is it ego? Why did he ask if it was egoism? Why is that the first answer? Like literally, if these people actually listen to women, they would know it's not about ego. There are several other answers that they could come up with, like having to shoulder 90% of the childbearing and all of the chores. It's the cost of living. It's childcare. It's having to sacrifice your finances. It's a lot of different reasons, but he came up with ego first. And this person at the bottom comes up with social networks first. But let's see some of the answers with the quote retweets. Amit says, combination of cost of living, women's participation in the workforce, better contraception, and the fact that parenting is not exactly fun, among other things. Ansel says the average cost of childcare for 2 kids is higher than the cost of rent in 50 out of 50 states, and rent and housing costs are astronomically high. Nocturnal Venue says, why is it whenever women choose not to have children, they are accused of egoism or being selfish? Silly Punk says, personally, is because I really like sleep, disposable income, doing what I want, and not giving into the pressure of society to do something I don't want. Indian Hodel says, what's really going to bake your noodle is when you realize the true cost of inflation is that they have stolen the unborn children from those who continue to live under the fiat standard. That is the depth of the theft we're dealing with, and very few understand it. So the cost of living is stealing unborn children. Nintendi says, I think the steady line of 1 child and the drop of 2 coinciding with the increase of zeros is interesting. Joe says, it seems to be some mix of a bunch of factors. For America, I think it's pretty telling that the birth rate was at replacement levels till 2007. 2008 saw widespread financial downturn, and listen to this part, the widespread use of smartphones and internet adoption. So women are opting out, but possibly also because of smartphones and the internet. If he would have just kept it as the housing bubble burst and the economy, that would have been solid. But the fact that he added the smartphones and internet adoption made me laugh. This woman says, men don't listen to women when they review the data. And then she gives a shocked Pikachu face. Rivia drops the mic here. He says there are several causes. Women have been propagandized to want fewer children because of feminism. Our society has fostered a culture of selfishness due to feminism. We have selected for short-term thinking over long-term planning, probably because of liberal arts in college and feminism. Corporations love single, childless women as they are the most materialistic. And that is definitely because of feminism, because feminists say, let's go corporations and let's go buy stuff. Totally go. Gotta love men and their answers. Andy says, totally normal in urban life. These countries that manage to grow GDP from small towns and suburbs will survive. Densely populated urban countries like China will die. And Katerina just wonders, why would not having children be egoistic? Who knows? But it's probably due to feminism. Now, the ladies were cutting up on my YouTube page when I asked them to give the answers of why women are not having babies. Diane says, infant crying will disturb my cats, and I can't have that. And Feisty Black says, yes, meow, my cats need peace and quiet. Joe Schmo says, changing nappies and wiping noses sounds like something only a simp would do. I'm an alpha. I don't tie shoelaces for anyone. Steph says, I'm biologically incapable of conceiving with anyone but an alpha. Alas, I fritted away my years with the betas, and alphas have forsaken me, as I am now invisible behind the wall. Pity me. Nocturnal Miss So says, absolutely, sir, it's our giant, massive ego. Towards the bottom, she said, Matthew says, can we make this Soros' fault somehow? Probably him and Jeff Bezos. Totally not Elon Musk, because he really wants y'all to have some babies. Kalia says babies have cooties, obviously. Array Coco says, why can they come up with every reason except for finds the majority of men disgusting? The McQueen Dream says women are getting smarter. That's all. Van Goo says, men are treating us too well. Our bosses are paying us way too much. And our government gives us so many reasons. Just do it. Just do it. There's so many reasons. Ladosis says, I didn't want to get fatter than I already was since, being ugly is a sin. Lexa Power says, I think it's because men don't provide financially anymore and America doesn't offer paid maternity leave and late stage capitalism. Kathleen gets to the bottom of it. She gets to the crux of the situation. Women of childbearing age are so busy with their eyelashes that they just plumb forget. I believe that she nailed it right there. Area Glorious says, I'm actually an alien who is incapable of reproducing with humans. For an alien, she speaks American quite well. Jail is my homegirl says, I wasted my fertile years on getting an education and becoming financially stable. And now I am barren, over 25 years old, with no eggs. Sigh. I guess I'll have to console myself with my 6-figure salary as I waste away in my luxury apartment surrounded by cats and wiping my tears with dollar bills. Nisi Nay says, as a 27-year-old with a barren womb that makes close to 6 figures, I concur. I don't have kids and I'm planning to go to Japan in the next few months. Better to do that than drink all of the wine in my cabinets. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard out here for these people that just have money to waste. And then finally, we have Mary. She says, I'm 33 and past my prime. Sigh. Guess all the males will just have to leave me alone and pass me right over because all I have now is my wealth, friends, family, my 2-story home with the jacuzzi in the back, and several trips I take every year. Oh, how I wish I could help the males in their turmoil, but alas, we have our cross to bear. And then I was like, some of y'all are just rubbing it in our faces now. And by some of y'all, I specifically mean you. All right, so this is what the ladies are saying on my page, and that's some of the answers that they were talking about on the tweets. Go ahead and join the conversation. Do you find this graph to be interesting, especially how the child-free women line has shot up so dramatically from 2015 to now? That line is pretty dramatic, and people are starting to notice, as well as governments and the economies that are feeling the crunch of women not having babies. Join the conversation. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. So yesterday, I was talking about how the Heritage Foundation and Project 2025 wants to do away with birth control and other forms of contraception. And it started a conversation under one of my YouTube videos. And Moore put this comment, and I thought it was a really good comment, and I wanted to bring that out. She says, before birth control, I suffered from severe mood swings lasting up to 3 to 4 days before and all during my period. Sometimes my mood got so low in the days leading up to my cycle, I wanted to no longer be here. Then the cycle would come and I wanted to no longer be here because I'd cramped so badly that I would be in bed in the fetal position for days on end. I would cry and throw up from the pain. Ibuprofen and Tylenol combined didn't touch the pain. I've had two kids. Labor wasn't much worse until the very end. I'd also bleed to the point of anemia, passing several golf ball sized clots a day. Pads and tampons combined couldn't contain it. I'd also be so fatigued that I would sleep for incredibly long periods of time if I could get the cramping under control. My limbs felt like lead. Then on the last day, like clockwork, I'd get a migraine that lasted for 2 or 3 days, which would also have me in the fetal position and vomiting from the pain. 2.5 to 4 weeks later, I'd do it again. It was an unpredictable hell that would put me out of commission for a solid 6 days minimum. If I started my period on vacation, I'd be confined to the room the entire time. I canceled plans and rescheduled appointments and outings with friends and family. I bailed on people because of my cycle. My cycle was basically running my life. After my kids were born, I went on birth control, and now I get 3 periods a year and they're light. A couple of Tylenol will take care of the mild cramping. My mood swings, heavy bleeding, severe cramps, fatigue, and migraines are all gone. I'm divorced and in the 4B movement. Losing my birth control wouldn't mean another pregnancy for me, but it sure as hell would mean that my quality of life would tremendously suffer. My periods were crippling. I'm finally living. I can't go back to being chained to the whims of my sadistic uterus. I wanted to bring this up because a lot of times people get so gung ho with their positions and their beliefs, especially on birth control, that they forget that some people use these to regulate their cycles. And I do not like it when people act like the advice that they get from their doctor translates to other women and girls. They really got to stop. My doctor said, and because they have had certain side effects with certain forms of contraception or birth control, that the next woman will too. People have got to stop thinking that what has happened with their body will be what happens with somebody else's body. It's perfectly fine to have a belief in something. It's perfectly fine to know and understand how something interacts with your body. But it is not perfectly fine that for you to think that your stance is what should regulate other people. And that's the reason why I posted this woman's comment first and foremost, because there are some people in the comment section that feel so strongly about the side effects, but then they don't realize that sometimes people are willing to deal with those side effects to be able to live a little bit. So Turquoise says there's never any discussion by the Christo-fascists that birth control treats medical conditions. If they were to strip it away, thousands of women would suffer needlessly from endometriosis, heavy bleeding, painful cramps, PCOS, etc. She says, my IUD changed my life dramatically for the better by treating my gynecological condition. And she says, I'd rather expire than go back to all that pain again. And so then Seabreeze just reduced all that she said. Seabreeze says cramps is not a disease, but I see what you mean. Can we just not pathologize the entire feminine experience? And I don't think that she pathologized the entire feminine experience. She is talking about certain medical conditions which she actually named: heavy bleeding, endometriosis, painful cramps, PCOS. She is being very specific. She's not saying everyone needs to be on birth control to regulate their pain. That's the thing. That's what I'm talking about. See, these people are so strongly against. They're so strongly against birth control that they would rather think that you can reduce what they are feeling to just cramps. That's what she is thinking. And I don't like that position. It's like, if you don't want to be on birth control, don't get on birth control. But it might actually help someone else, a different woman, live their life without unnecessary pain. Cheeky Loves Cheesecake says, if you don't want to take birth control, then don't. If you don't want to have sex outside of a committed relationship, then don't. Their interest in the private lives of consenting adults is creepy and weird. Misinterpretation says, here's a fun fact. I've never taken birth control, and I've been completely free to make that choice. So if they don't like it, they don't have to take it. Why are they always trying to force their preferences onto everyone? Leave people alone. Have your beliefs. It is perfectly fine for you to use your beliefs to dictate your own life. Why do your beliefs need to dictate other people's lives? Why do your beliefs need to limit other people's choices? Leave people alone to make their decisions with their doctor, not you. Stay out of people's business. Stick to your own uterus. All right, but you can you can leave an opinion on this post. You can leave a comment, but I'm still saying stay out of other people's uterus and regulate your own. Jump in the comments, like, comment, share.